Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the world. We are forever indebted to Almighty God Allah for His merciful and prophetic intervention in our affairs, in the person of the great Mahdi, Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. We thank Him for raising up from our midst His messenger Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, through whom we have been given our beloved and blessed Redeemer, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Their names, beloved brothers and sisters, I'm very happy to greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
How's everyone?
Fine, sir.
Good. All praises due to Allah. I want to get right into the subject matter by Almighty God Allah's grace and the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Our subject today is fear, the greatest enemy of the oppressed. Fear. It is not the white man that is our greatest enemy. It is not any man that is our greatest enemy. But it is our fear of the white man and those that rule over us that is our greatest enemy. Fear, according to the dictionary, is defined as a feeling of alarm or disquiet caused by the expectation of danger or pain, disaster, or the like. Terror or dread, it is apprehension. It is an instance, a manifestation of such a feeling, a state or condition of alarm or dread. Fear can also be the extreme reverence or awe as toward a supreme power. Fear is what is used by our enemies to keep us in the condition we are in. But fear is also used by God to bring to a people who may otherwise be in rebellion back to the path of obedience. My dear mothers, those of you in the audience who are mothers, you know that in the primary stages of your child's life, out of love, when you're teaching the child how they should go, as the scripture says, raise the child up in the way they should go, and when they grow up or get older, they will not depart from that way. You know, mothers, that in the primary stages of your development of the child, you use fear. Is that right? You don't have time, nor are you inclined to try to teach the child the logic and the rationale of obeying you. No, it's obey me or suffer a consequence.
That's right.
At least that's how it used to be before the enemy has convinced us, some of us, that it is wrong to put fear in the child, to bring about obedience. That is a great hypocrisy because when the child grows up, having not learned the fear of authority, they challenge the authority of the enemy, and then the enemy will not hesitate to show that they are the authority up to and including killing the one who disobeys their authority. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
God is the same way as you, mother. You do that out of love. God does that out of love. He never chastises for the joy of destroying, even the wicked. When he raises up a messenger or prophet or warner from him, his objective is not to destroy those whom he's warning, but his objective is to bring those who have strayed from the path of obedience to him back to the path. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
This is why Allah, God's mercy is incomparable. It encompasses all, both the righteous and the wicked. But fear applied by those who don't love us,
Come on.
they have a different motive.
Yes, sir.
Their motive is to control those whom they subject to fear for the benefit of enslaving those who they subject to fear. A child, when they're born, they experience emotion. They experience the pain and the emotion of being subjected to a new environment. Help me, mothers, those of you who know these things. I study these things, but you live these things, so you can help me understand them better and express them better. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when the child emerges out of the womb of the mother, they are subjected to a new environment, an unfamiliar environment, and as such, the unfamiliarity of the environment causes the child to be afraid and to be insecure.
That's right.
Am I telling it right?
Yes, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. And so, the mother begins now to secure the child, to hold the child, to remove the fear from the child and makes the child secure. But in that making the child secure, you now have engendered not only love and dependency, but a fear of being absent from that security by the mother. So as the child grows, the father can go. Sometimes the father's not even there. But if the father is there, the father can go. And the child in her or his infant stage may say, bye-bye, daddy.
Yes, sir.
But when the mother goes, it's, where you going, mommy?
Right, that's right.
When you coming back, mommy?
That's right.
Take me with you. I want to go because you have made the child secure and your absence threatens the child's security.
That's right.
So you can make the child obey you if they are afraid of losing you and the security that you instill in the child. Is that right,
That's
mothers?
Right. That's right.
Well, the slave master is the same way.
Good point.
The slave master robs the slave of any knowledge or ability to secure themselves. So the slave becomes totally dependent upon the slave master and what the slave master can do for the slave, and when the slave master does for the slave and then threatens the slave to take away that which the slave master, however small, however trivial, they do for the slave, then they keep the slave in order. These are the principles that we are experiencing as Muslims. What do you fear, Muslims, that impedes our ability to carry out certain instructions? What do we fear that it impedes our ability to go out in the field of labor, and those who are dying for the lack of knowledge, that we bring them knowledge and bring them to where, or to the house where knowledge is being spoken? What is the fear?
That's right. Come on now.
This is something to examine. I wanted to mention Muslims because I don't want us to ever think that the words of guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are for those people that we determine as deaf, dumb, and blind, and not for us who have some degree of sight but are blind in terms of the results that we're getting in the work of the resurrection of those that we say are blind.
That's right. Come on, man.
So I want us to make sure that we don't exclude ourselves.
That's right.
All right?
Yes, sir.
But for the most part, the master has extended some degree of security to the slave and keeps the slave in line. Okay. Anyone that, well, let me talk about this first. Fear, in our case, is the absence of love.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says, perfect love casteth out fear. We are afraid because we're unloved. We are afraid because nobody has cared about the insecurity of the black man and woman in America. We have always been the locked out, the left out, the forlorn, the disenfranchised, the forgotten, those that are on the bottom rung of the ladder of civilization. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We are the poor. We are the uneducated. We are what they refer to as the lower class. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We are the underprivileged. Look at how they classify us. And this has not changed. When they talk about the middle class, they're not talking about us.
That's right.
By and large, they're talking about themselves.
Come on, come on.
Even though the middle class is disappearing and moving toward an economic environment where there's just rich and poor. But when they talk about the middle class, they're not talking about you and me. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't care what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you live in, what kind of job you have, because your job, if given to you by your slave master, is a mechanism by which to keep you in control. You didn't hear me.
Come on, come on, come on.
And those who can make money, and when I say make money, I mean literally make money. They have the machinery, they have the paper, they have the color, they have whatever it takes to run sheets of paper through a machine and put on that paper what they call legal tender. They can make it in any denomination. They can make it in 20s, 50s, 100s, thousands. The paper is worthless. The ink is worthless. It's not backed up by anything except the promise of a liar.
That's right.
And the only reason why the American dollar has any value at all, because it is backed up by the force of power of the ability to kill. It's the only reason why the dollar is respected.
That's right. Military might.
It's backed up by military might.
That's right.
But my point is that the sheets cost maybe pennies.
Come on, Brother James. Yes, sir.
So they can run sheets that cost pennies through a machine and then label it as 100, 1,000, 10,000 for pennies. They make money, and because they make money, they can give you any amount. It doesn't matter if it's $1 billion worth of paper, $1 trillion worth of paper. They can give the slave anything if the slave has sold himself to paper.
That's right. That's right.
Good point.
And we have sold ourselves to paper. This is why we got paper as slaves, but we have no land.
Come on, come on. Real estate.
Huh? We have no business. We have no commerce. We have nothing substantial, but we got paper.
Come on, Brother.
I want us to think about
Yes, sir.
how the
Yes, sir.
slave master rules us.
Come on.
He makes us secure, doesn't he? All of us that have jobs. Huh? We can come to the mosque and rail on the devil. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we do. The cracker, the terror, the beast. Then next week, how you doing, sir? I'm punching in, sir. What do you have for me to do, sir? And those of us who don't have a job, the devil, the beast, the cracker. You got a job for me, sir? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is how he rules. I'm not against people working. Not at all. Don't feel bad if you got a job and you're getting paper and the paper is allowing you to secure you and your family. Don't feel bad. That's what you should do as a man. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But I must inform you that that is not freedom.
That's right.
Come on.
As long as we have to report to an enemy that has the option to fire us anytime he wants to fire
That's
us.
not free. That's right.
He makes the laws. Is that right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Some of us have jobs that are unionized. And we say, he can't fire me. I'm a member of the union. But he's the owner of the union.
That's right. That's right.
He makes the rules.
Come on. Come
And
on.
whenever the rules don't favor him, he changes the
That's
rules.
right.
So whether you are a union member or not, you're still a slave.
That's right.
So it is our fear
That's right.
or the white man's ability to secure us that keeps us shackled as slaves. You got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I'm not preaching leave your job. I'm not preaching that. But I am preaching make a job
Hey, boy.
for yourself. And I am preaching that no job should be raised above the mission to free your people from the shackles of dependency of a job and of the job giver, the white man. That's what I'm preaching. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So, I had said that love, the presence of love, is the absence of fear. Why do your children love you, mother? Because you're their mother. I have to talk to the sisters, you know, because sometimes, a lot of times, the brothers ain't even on the scene. But they love you because all their life you've made them secure. You are the source of security for them. So they love you. But if you love on the basis of that which makes you secure, then the danger of that is what makes you secure can become your master.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see? Now, why am I talking like this? Well, because my father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, talks like this.
That's right.
But here we are, brothers and sisters. We have what is referred to as supreme wisdom. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what does that word supreme mean? It means, well, we can interact here.
The highest.
It means what?
The highest.
The highest, the best. Allah is the supreme being, He's the supreme knower, and He's the best knower. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So it's the highest, the best, none better. But what are we doing with it? If we have the best knowledge, the highest knowledge, where is the fruit of our knowledge? You can tell what a person knows, not necessarily by what they say, but you can tell what a person knows based on what they do. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Because higher knowledge should result in greater works. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So we have the supreme knowledge, but where's the application of our knowledge? What is the impediment? Well, there's several. First of all, we must understand that whatever is out there is in here. And because we put a bow tie on what's in here, or a headpiece and a long dress on what's in here, it does not eliminate what's out there that we have brought with us in here. So out there, black organizations suffer, don't they?
Yes, sir.
They fight over leadership, right? They fight over titles. It's very difficult in black organizations for the membership to follow the leadership. Why? Because the leadership looks like them. The leadership acts like them. The leadership is them. And deep down inside, we don't respect anything that looks like us because we don't respect ourselves. This is the dilemma that we have been fighting against in the Nation of Islam. This is the impediment, one of them, that stops us from applying the supremacy of the knowledge that we have been given. It's disrespect for leadership. And it's disrespect for those whom you lead. When we get this title, and more titles wipe us out. You know what I mean? We would like titles over money. As long as we're the head so-and-so.
That's right.
And artists, they like fame over money.
That's right. I
understand the root of that, but look at the condition that we're in.
Right. Yes, sir.
I'm a student, the minister said, which was such a great mercy for him to call us students.
Come on.
Some of us got upset. Man, I've been in the nation for, I've been preaching for 30 years, 42 years, 50 years. I've been a minister. Now I gotta be a student. We didn't realize the great blessing in being a student. See, a student is allowed to make mistakes.
That's right.
And a student does not have the burden of impressing the people with what the profession demands that the person do. I'm a student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And as a student, if I make a mistake with you, huh?
Yes, sir.
Should you get upset with the student if he's still learning? Come on, talk to me. Even though you do. My sister Shantae is a student. Sister MGT coordinator. My sister Charlene is the student secretary. My brother Jackie is student FOI coordinator. Student, which means we are all in the process of learning. Learning. I could say with some degree of accuracy that we are all student Muslims.
That's right.
Because we're learning how to be a Muslim, even though it's our nature. But we were born in sin and then shaped by the iniquity of the sin. So that what we have been shaped into is not representative of the nature in which we were created. So we have to relearn how to manifest our nature.
That's right. That's right.
How to act in accord with our nature. I'm getting off the subject.
You're on
You know, you have these things planned to speak on. Then when you come to the meeting, it's just us.
That's what it said.
Now I want to tell you, since it's just us, how that affects the message. And it's not that I affect it personally, but Allah will affect it so that the speaker will say what the people in the audience need.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
It's true. Because all we are vessels. If it pleases Allah, He will use us as a vessel through which to share His Spirit, most importantly, and His divine word as so abundantly given us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it's a blessing to be a vessel. And sometimes the speaker is not a vessel. Sometimes he or she is just a speaker. But you're not moved by that one. Are you? You sit in your seat and shuffle your feet and wonder, when is it going to be over? All right, I want to get back to the subject at hand. We're talking about fear. What inspired me to study this subject, and I'm still studying it, is I went on Facebook and I saw an interview, a discussion, a conversation between preachers. Now you all are familiar, how many of you are familiar with Pastor Jamal Bryant?
Yes, sir.
And the network on which he speaks is called the Word Network.
That's right.
That's right.
And he brought the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on that network.
That's right.
And when he brought him on that network, his fellow pastors, many of them, began to question him.
Come on.
Bring him.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Took them off. Yes, sir.
There's some, I don't know if they took him off the Word Network, but they took him off of this network called Daystar.
That's right. Daystar. That's right.
Yes, sir. That's right.
I hope Pastor Jamal understands that he was freed from Daystar. But I looked at this interview, as much of it as I could stand. I went through the whole thing. It was about 27 minutes. And this, who was it, Brother Michael? Bishop Luma? Bishop Luma is questioning our brother as to what possessed him to bring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the Word Network, a predominantly Christian network, and allow the minister that platform to speak as if the minister needs any platform that anybody can give him.
That's right.
He has the platform.
Come on.
He is the platform.
Come on now.
That's right. But I listened to him question our brother. He labeled our brother as the, I don't know, how did he word it? Not progenitor, but some kind of word that means he's the leader of Chrislam.
Wow.
This is a slang word for that they made up for an amalgamation between Christianity and Islam. And he was, in words, letting Brother Jamal know that he made a terrible mistake. And he was saying, Brother Jamal said that he heard the devil talk with him. Is that right, brother? He heard the devil speaking to him. And he heard God speaking to him. The devil said, you're through. You are no longer going to be a headliner in words in mainstream Christianity. It's over for you. And he said, what he heard God say was, I have never anointed you to be mainstream in words. I've never anointed you to go along with the crowd. But this pastor or bishop, I can't, it's hard to call him pastor. But this man is telling him, I don't want you to think that the devil is telling you that the doors of your mainstream representation of Christianity aren't closed. Because they are, they're closed. What possessed you? Now, as I listened to the interview, Pastor Jamal Bryant said, when we spoke about Bush leading the American people to war in Iraq on the basis of a lie, you and those with you who have a problem with me bringing the minister on said, well, we have to honor leadership. So it's all right, according to Mr. Bloomer. It's all right for a white man to lead hundreds of thousands of people into a war which results in the killing of hundreds of thousands of people, mutilation, subjecting them to all kinds of chemical diseases. That's all right. But for you, as a black man and a member of the clergy, to invite another black man who is a member of the clergy,
That's right.
no matter what label, but you got a problem with him just talking to the man. And this is what he was trying to get across to him, Brother Jamal. He was saying, look, my sin is talking to the man. And he couldn't even get that through. I am quite sure that if it was a Jewish rabbi that was brought on to the Word Network, now these are people who denounce even the existence of Jesus.
That's right.
Yes. Come on. Come on.
And historically, they are the ones who delivered Jesus up to the authorities
That's right.
to be crucified according to the scriptures, but that would have been acceptable. What is he operating on, Pastor Bloomer? He's operating on fear.
Fear.
And the threat that whoever is funding him will stop their funding and therefore remove his security.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
And this is the danger of loving and obeying and being subject to those who are your grantors of security. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, and particularly Muslim, but if you're a Christian, which is the same thing, if anyone but God is granting your security, then you are a slave to Satan.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm going to say it again. If anyone as a Muslim or a Christian is your grantor of security, then you are a slave to Satan. And until and unless you are the manifestation of what you preach, saying, I can do all things in Christ which strengtheneth me. Huh? If God be for me, who can be against me? Until you become the personification and the application of what you preach, then shut your mouth. Because you're a hypocrite if you're afraid of white people to the point where you don't even want to talk to a black man whom you perceive disagrees religiously with your religious thought.
Come on.
I went right to the minister because he spoke on so many different subjects. I don't think there's anything the minister hasn't spoken on. And when I saw this demonstration of stark fear, I said, what did the minister say about this? I know he said something. Does someone have a napkin or tissue or something? And I went right to it. I just, technology is so wonderful. All you have to do is Google it or put it in the computer. Thank you, brother. And YouTube is so wonderful. I'm serious, I like YouTube. You just type in Farrakhan and then the subject. And it comes right up. So that's what I did. And it came right up. Farrakhan speaks on the fear of the black man. And this is very powerful.
Oh, yes.
And I would strongly encourage us to go and study it. Because it's our fear, brothers and sisters. It's our fear that impedes our freedom and our independence. Don't you know that we get $1.3 trillion out of the American economy? Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what $1 trillion looks like? Of course not. Of course not. But in the book Torchlight for America, when it talked about the amount of debt of America, how much was that? Do you remember? It was a few trillion, a couple of trillion, something.
15 trillion.
It wasn't 15. No, that's a bit much less than that. But it was talking about the debt of America. And the only way that he could, not the only way, but the way he described so that we could picture what $1 trillion looks like, he said that if you put $1 on top of the other, then the amount of money to which he was referring would overshoot the moon. However far the moon is, it would overshoot it by so many miles. I wish I had the actual facts. 4,000? 12,000? And you know how far the moon is, and you know how thin paper is. So just picture that much money. Well, that's similar to what we get out of the American economy. Now, how many of you are from Orlando? Well, you may not be from, but how many live in Orlando? Or the surrounding areas, okay? You ride through the main, do you see black business? None? I'm not not talking about in the hood where the little barber shop, and I'm not denouncing that, but, or the beauty parlor, you know, which you're losing that system. You know, you got Asians doing your nail. And you know, don't you know you taught them how to do that? How did they get that business? That's still a puzzlement to me. They're doing your nails, arching your eyebrows. Is that right? How did they get that? Can somebody explain that to me? How they got that from you? And how did they get chicken wings from us? Now this is heavy, man. I mean, it's funny. It sounds funny, but this is heavy. How did they get it? Arabs got chicken wings. Koreans got doing nails and hair. How did they take it? Did they come in with weapons and just take it by force? Did they? No. They crept in and they took it. And then they were backed by the American government. There was an effort to remove the blight from the poor neighborhoods. I saw it in Tampa, but it was all over. In Tampa, it was called Weed and Seed. How many of you heard of that? Weed and Seed. So the local government got money from the state, I think, and from the federal. That money was to go towards the blighted communities to refurbish business and to establish business. But guess what? You had to have a vehicle to receive it. You had to be in business.
Right.
And since Arabs were in business in our community, Koreans were in business in our community, then the money allotted to generate and to seed commerce in the black community went to them. Do you hear what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? I went to a meeting wherein one of the political hopefuls was addressing the community. And I asked the question. I said, is there any legislature that will ensure that the business community, percentile-wise, reflects the population of the community that the business is in? This was a good question. First, after acting like he didn't know what the heck I was asking him, even though I know he did, this is what he said. He said, well, you know, government cannot enact any laws that discriminate against a person because of their ethnicity or race. Isn't that what we clamored for? Isn't that what we protested for? Isn't it?
Yeah.
But look at now how they're using it against us. So even though the population in that community is maybe 75% black, the small percentage of immigrants, Koreans or Muslims or Iraqis or whatever, if they have the business, monies that come to fuel business in that community cannot be distributed based on the population of the community, because that's race discrimination. That's heavy, isn't it? So we must be careful what we ask for. You know, we're dealing with an arch deceiver. brothers and sisters. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, you can't fathom the depths of Satan. And if you can't fathom the depths to which someone will go of evil to get their program over, then you can't fight against that one.
That's right.
There's an excellent episode, all of them are excellent, but this episode of The Time and What Must Be Done, I think it's episode 32. And what it deals with is how blacks became a consumer nation. Now I cite these things because I'm leading up to my close. I don't want to keep for an inordinate amount of time. But in my close, I want to announce to you, for those of you who don't know it, and for those of you who do know it, I want to remind us that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has called for an economic boycott
That's right.
That's right.
of Black Friday.
Yes, sir.
Everybody know what Black Friday is?
Yes, sir.
If you don't know, it means black people spending money with their slave masters. But this is where they reduce prices in the store. Target black and poor people. And we just go crazy.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's right.
Get up early in the morning. Sometimes we take our chairs,
Yes, sir. That's
a
right.
makeshift bed the night before and sleep in front of us.
Come
It's
on.
hellified, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Come on. Then when the doors open, it's a stampede, an animalistic stampede, with no regard for health or safety of anybody. It's a fight. Well, with Black Friday, the minister said it's going to be White Friday. It'll be black because we'll all in unity be absent, but it'll be White Friday because whites will be the only ones spending money. Now that $1.3 trillion that we get out of the economy, which stays in our community, 0.1% of the time, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is calling for us not to spend on Black Friday. Are we going to support that?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even if our beautiful child is saying, "Mommy's that Xbox 3 or 4, I don't know what they're up to. It's going to be on sale, Mommy, Black Friday." And they cry. It looks so good. Are we still going?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So bait, don't get too bait on me now.
Yes, sir.
But not only Black Friday, but Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Farrakhan, Thanksgiving, I mean, come on, man. This is when the family gets together, everybody eats, you know, and there's love abounding in family relationships and all of that. You want to boycott that too? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Why? Well, first and foremost, it's based on a lie. Thanksgiving is not based on the coming together of the Native American and the Pilgrims that invaded
No, sir.
their land, and they all sat at a table and ate turkey and other. No, that's a big lie.
Come on.
They came into America, so-called America, or the Native Americans' land, slaughtered them, and robbed the land.
That's right.
Deceive them. Make us to think that they took $24 worth of trinkets and offered it to the Native Americans. And because it sparkled and looked pretty, we gave them the acreage of Manhattan, New York, for 20. Do you believe that?
Yes, sir.
But this is what your children are learning. Ask them If they're teaching American history in the schools we send them to, ask them what they're learning about Christopher Columbus. Ask them what they're learning about the discovery of America. Ask them what they're learning about the sale of the Native Americans to white people, New York,
That's right.
the state of New York. Ask them what they're learning, because this is what they're teaching.
Right.
So we boycott Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yes, sir.
We don't boycott giving thanks to the God, but we boycott giving thanks to the enemy who
Right.
slaughtered our Native American brothers and sisters. We can still come together as family members, but why do we have to wait until the enemy says it's time?
That's right.
We should be coming together and eating together anyway.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
So we boycott Thanksgiving. And then the next day, which is Black Friday, we boycott Black Friday. And then we boycott Santa.
That's right. Get ready. Get ready.
Do you know how much power that represents? How much money that represents? If we, in unity, would withdraw our economic support just on those days. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is asking us to go door to door, brothers
That's right.
and sisters,
That's right. That's what he
That's
said.
asking our people to boycott these holidays. No more trees. And what the heck are you bringing a tree into your house for anyway?
That's right.
$60 and $70. I don't know how much they cost now, but what are you bringing in a tree for? How many of us bring the tree in the house? Have done it. Come on, come on, come on. Tell the truth, we're seeing the devil. How many of us still do it?
Come on now.
Okay. I appreciate your candor, dear sister. I just want to share with you that Jeremiah said, you believe in the prophet Jeremiah, don't you? He said, don't do that. Can I read it to you, sister? I'm not trying to single my sister out, but I appreciate your honesty, sister. So, do you attend church, if I may ask? And has the preacher ever, have you ever heard preachers talk about Christmas? Did they tell you to practice it or not practice it? Okay. Well, I see, this is what I don't understand. The preachers, I know preachers believe in the prophet Jeremiah. So let's see what Jeremiah says about that. And this is for our benefit. But you know, my dear sister, I am so happy
That's right.
that you are strong enough.
Strong as that. That's right.
Now, how many of us wouldn't say nothing?
Really.
I ain't saying nothing, that many gonna talk about me. But look, this is not for embarrassment. But this is what Jeremiah is saying in the 10th chapter. He says, hear ye the word which, and this is the King James Version. This is not the Muslim Bible.
Go ahead.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of the heaven. For the heathen rather, are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. Now this is Jeremiah telling us what we do. Is that what we do?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Then Jeremiah says they fastened it with nails and with hammers that it moved not. Now, isn't that what we do? We put the tree in a vase, and then we nail the vase to the floor so that it doesn't, so it moves not. Now Jeremiah says, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. This is as a result of an amalgamation under the leadership of Constantine of pagan ritual and the gospel of Jesus Christ. When Constantine was trying to get a foothold into the pagan territory, the pagans worshiped the elements. They worshiped the sun. They worshiped snow. They worshiped Easter. Huh?
That's right. That's right.
Which was really the god Ashtade.
That's right.
And in December or thereabouts, you had the shortest days. So in the shortness of the day, the pagans saw the sun removing itself.
That's right.
Whereas in the summer, it stays long.
That's right.
They thought, because they worshiped the sun, that their God was angry with them. So to entreat the God, when in the winter time, they engaged in this ritualistic expression, taking the tree, bringing it into their homes, hanging little replicas of the sun on the tree. We call them Christmas balls. Christmas balls. They put a wreath on their door.
That's right.
The wreath is circular. They're trying to entreat the sun god to return. And then when Easter comes and the land, the snow melts and the land starts bearing fruit again, this is a big celebration. And what they do is take the maidens of the village and march them down the center of the village. We call it what? The Easter parade. The virgins get all decked out so that they are attractive. And after they march through the villages, then they disperse into the hills and cave sides and hide.
Come on.
This is where the Easter egg hunt came from.
Hey, come on now.
They hide in the caves, and then the men of the village go seek them out. And when they find them, they engage in orgiastic activity. You have the symbol of the Easter egg in a basket. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
That represents the eggs in your womb. The basket represents the womb. And the eggs represent which you have an inestimable amount of eggs. Now they have what you call rabbits in the basket. What does the rabbit have to do with the chicken eggs? Rabbits don't lay eggs.
No.
The rabbit is one of the most reproductive animals in creation.
That's right. That's right.
So it's talking about, all of this symbolically represents sexual activity and reproduction.
That's right.
But when Constantine came into that area to bring those amalgamated some of the pagan rituals with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So now on Easter, you have an amalgamation of the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, but you also got Easter eggs
That's
and
right.
bunnies.
That's right.
That's right. Come on.
Teach you on that.
Have you ever thought about why you have to get something new every Easter? I used to wonder why white people didn't do that. White people, I used to look and tease the little white boy. You ain't got no new Easter suit or shoes? What's the matter with you? What did their parents know of that? My parents didn't know that they had to buy me an Easter suit and Easter shoes. Why did I have to get something? What is so important about getting something new on Easter? And then they say if it represents a commemoration of the crucifixion, but it comes on different days and in different months. Sometimes it's in April, sometimes it's in March. Well, when did the man get crucified?
Come on.
It's not talking about Jesus. It's not talking about the resurrection of Christ. It is an amalgamation of pagan ritual, and we're all entrapped in the paganism, and this is why on those days, Christ is as far from us in our minds as East is from West. So on Christmas, we don't think about what goes better with Christ. We think about what goes better with Coke.
Come on.
Both Cokes.
Come on.
Come on now.
You ain't hear me.
Come on now.
Don't look at me in some false holy stance like you don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Come on.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Huh?
Yes, sir.
It's paganism.
Yes, sir.
It's lies. And then you have a white man coming down a chimney, you in the project, you don't even have a chimney, and you celebrating that.
Come on. Teach hard, brother. Come on.
Do you
now.
understand?
That's right.
And monies that you don't have,
Okay.
you make sure you spend them on credit. Easy credit ripoffs, like that song Good Time. That's what it is. Layaway with no money. I was listening to a commercial for Target. You can lay away purchases with no money. How do you lay away something without money? Something to secure what you lay away. Do you understand how we've been trapped, bamboozled? So we've been spending all of this money in pagan ritualistic expression and activity. And I understand, I did it myself. I understand, I'm not condemning you. But all we are asking from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is that this year, you don't have to necessarily agree with the historical information I shared with you. Go research it for yourself. But whether you believe it or not, this year we're asking, take that money for the tree. Take that money for the toy. Take that money for the Easter outfit. Take that money for whatever you spend according to pagan ritual and keep it in your pocket this year.
That's right. Keep that
And when the enemy sees that we're no longer supporting him economically, he's going to now come to the table.
That's right.
You must understand you're dealing with an enemy that does not respond to just principles, to moral principles. He only responds to that which hurts him. Did you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we got to redistribute the pain.
Yes, sir.
The pain of suffering we have endured as a result of our children being shot down in the street, as a result of being the last hired in the first fight, as a result of being overtaxed by a criminal organization called the IRS, as a result of not getting justice in the courts of law, as a a result of being lied to in the school system, paying thousands of dollars for an education based on lies and that we cannot use when we graduate.
That's right. Useless.
On the basis of all of that, we now redistribute the pain of that by accenting our economic support. Are you with us on that?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Right.
Come on now.
Then we go. After that, after a successful boycott on those days, then we go to Nike. How many of you have sons? Do they wear Nikes? How many of you have bought Nikes for your children? A lot of money, isn't it? But they had to have it. Is that right? So Nike makes billions of dollars from black people. Now, how many of us have stock in Nike?
Pete. Pete.
None. Michael Jordan made it. That's a hell of a thing. We must never be deceived by those who the slave master lifts out of poverty and takes advantage of the natural skill of that person, the natural talent of that person, and pays them millions of dollars and then holds them out like a carrot being held out in front of a donkey. That if you listen to what we're saying, you too can have the million. That's a lie. He selects a few. Do you understand?
That's right. Yes, sir.
So don't ever get carried away or tell your children. You see Michael Jordan? He's an example of what opportunities lie in wait for you if you work hard. That's a lie. They have already calculated how many. Don't you understand that they fear that one day all of those athletes and artists that are making millions will wake up and say, hey, we're the performers, but we're not the owners. We're the performers, but we're not the managers. In the artistic, cultural world of the black community there represents billions of dollars. Suppose everybody wakes up and says, why not pool our resources? We could own the music world. We could own the sports world. Because there ain't no such thing as sports without black people. Is that right?
That's right.
How many of you would go pay money to see an all-white team play basketball? You would. No arena would have any person in it. Is that right?
That's right.
Let's take all the blacks out of football. How many of you would go play to see an all-white football team?
No, sir.
Of course not. So they're fearful that together, if they have too many as the norm, one day they will wake up and say, look, we want to be the owners, as they are now doing. We want to be the movers and shakers. So they let a select few get out and then dangle the success of those few in the face of our young brothers and sisters. So we got to do something about that this year. Their skill and talent is our resource. That belongs to us. Beyonce is ours. Huh? All the rest of them is ours. Jay-Z is ours. Is that right?
That's right.
Nas is ours.
That's right.
All the rappers, Baby or Birdman, he's ours. You know how much that that young man is worth? Personally, $300 million. Do you know how much Jay-Z is worth? Personally? Another $300 million. P. Diddy, do you know how much he's worth personally? I think it's in the area of $2 to $3 billion, $100 million. Dr. Dre just sold beats to who? To Apple for what? $3 billion? $3 billion. That's bank. See, our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, and the knowledge that we need is that we must unite as a people, withdraw our monies from those who have not dealt justly with us, and spend it among ourselves. We must become free of American society. We must be independent. So we go to Nike, since we're the customers. Nike, how many factories you want to build in the black community? Take your factories out of Mexico, those other areas. Bring them in, build the factories, and then don't just employ us, but make us co-owners in what we wear. Then after Nike, we go where? Who else do we spend money? Huh? Adidas. Then Coca-Cola. Huh? Then all of the corporations that suck the blood of the black community, but in which we have no real investment and therefore realize no profit. We go to all of them, but it starts with boycotting Black Friday. We got to send a message to the enemy that without us, they are nothing.
That's right.
And I guarantee you that if we act in a unified manner, we will deliver such a blow to the American corporate economy that they will come to the table and say, what y'all want? Now, as I close, there is a danger wherein they're going to come to some few of us and offer. Look, you're in some position of influence. Them niggas is talking about boycotting Black Friday. Do you know how much money we make on Black Friday? We make enough to stay in the black. That's why it's called Black Friday. We stay enough. We make enough money in the black that if we don't make another sale,
That's right.
we'll be straight and in profit for the whole year. So there will be those that will be approached and offered. Use your influence to speak against this boycott. There'll be some, Brother Mike. I guarantee you. Some in the radio business, some in politics. I want you to be aware of this now. Some in business, they'll be approached. Speak against the boycott. So I want you to attune your ear to those who speak negatively about the call of boycotting from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Trust nobody. You didn't hear me. Don't trust nobody. Keep your ears and your eyes attuned and focused on somebody saying anything negative about boycotting.
Come on.
And when you hear it, step to it. What are you talking about? What do you have against us withdrawing our economic support from the people who support police agencies that shoot us down in the streets? And then are given a pass as justified homicide, or justifiable homicide. We're just talking about NASFAT. with them. Spend all you want with a black business, but make sure that it's not black managed and white owned. Okay? Because white folk ain't stupid. I wouldn't be surprised as in the upcoming days there's a boost in hiring. Black people. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. But you see, that person that wants to sell out, and be careful now, be careful, don't misjudge anyone. But see, when we're trying to gain our freedom and trying to strike a blow at an enemy that has been killing us all the days of our lives, and then somebody comes up and wants to sell out, the minister said that person is worthy of death. Now that may scare some of you. You shouldn't talk like that. But to sell out the legitimate aspirations for freedom of a people who have suffered ever since our fathers have set the soles of their feet in the Western Hemisphere. Now you want to sell it out for dollars? Yeah, you got to deal with that person. Those of you who are afraid, I'm not talking about the average little brother or sister that may be saying what they heard somebody else say. I'm talking about those who are in positions of influence. If you're afraid to say something to them, then let us know who they are. Then we will approach them. But see, that's the way we have to be, brothers and sisters. How long are we going to endure the status in which we live here in America? How long are we going to endure being the lower class society? You know what they call us? The permanent underclass. Do you know what permanent means? I'm not talking about the temporary permanent that you get from the Koreans. I don't even know why they call it permanent. I can't even say that word, permanent. When you gotta get it every month or get it again, ain't nothing permanent about that. But when they call us the permanent underclass, they're talking about they don't ever intend for us to get up out of the condition where we have the responsibility to get ourselves up out of the condition that we complain about. It's on our shoulders. So the first step, again, is withdrawing our economic support. Any questions? I'm closing now. I'm finished. Any questions? Now what we must do, brothers and sisters, collectively, is hit the streets. We got to make up flyers.
That's right.
That we can hand to the people, publishing our strategy for economic withdrawal.
That's right.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Take it block by block, community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood.
That's right.
And inspire the people. No Christmas this year. No Thanksgiving except giving thanks to Almighty God, Allah. And if they give you an opportunity to talk with them, say, look, if Christmas is supposed to be about the birth of Christ, then what we're saying is that bring Christ back into Christmas and send Santa back to the North Pole.
Come on.
Him and his reindeer.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Sit down and talk with the people. Tell your children who, unfortunately, if you still do it, have tried to stay up all night Christmas Eve trying to catch Santa. I used to do that.
Come on.
Stop lying to your children. Then when they lie to you about something, you beat the heck out of them for lying when you have made them a liar. Tell them the truth about Santa, about Easter, about these so-called holidays. Let the child's mind develop on in the process of truth, because the brain and the mind in the brain by nature feeds on truth. Dogs talking and mice talking and ducks talking and dinosaurs talking. These are lies that are feeding and aborting the process of growth or perverting the process of growth and development of the child's brain. Oh, but it's harmless, you say. No, it's not. And then you have to teach them that dogs don't really talk. And the way, what do they call that? Trick photography, but it's not trick. What is that? Special effects or whatever?
Double exposure.
No, I mean, what the science that they use to make it look like the dog is actually talking.
Animation.
Animation. That thing is so real, I have to ask myself, did you let dogs stop talking? Because it looks so real. I feel sorry for the babies. I really do, because it looks so real. Doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Look, brothers and sisters, from now on, let's be truthful to our children and to ourselves. And let's tell the enemy, no more will you get our dollars. No more Democratic Party. Withhold your vote. And if you vote, become an independent. We don't support the Democratic Party. We don't support the Republican Party. We don't support any party except the party that supports our agenda. And historically, none of them have supported our agenda, which is justice. So we have a party of our own. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, when you register, if you register independent.
That's right. Let's say that.
Don't register Democratic or Republican. Be independent. May Allah bless us to take this bold step in the way of securing our freedom and our independence. We all agree that we need to be independent, right?
Yes, sir.
Don't we agree?
Yes, sir.
Then let's take this bold step. This is a first step. I thank you for listening, brothers and sisters.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and coming to be with us today. We've got work to do. We've got work to do. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brothers and sisters, again, I want to express my gratitude for you who have taken time out of your busy schedule. You didn't have to come. You could have done something else. But I think this is the best decision that you could have made this hour. So thank you. Now, how many of you are here for your first time? My two brothers, I want to thank you, brothers. Dear brothers, those who are responsible for you, those who invite you, can you point them out to us?
Brother Brett. Brother Brett. He is
Where's Brother Brett? There he is. Brother Brett, I want to thank you. My second question to all of us, how many of us believe what we heard today is the truth, it's good for us, and it's good for our future? If you believe it's true. Okay. My third question is, how many of you who believe it's the truth would like to take a step of unity with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam? How many of you would like to take that step to unite? Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I want to thank my brother. Now look, this is not like an altar call. You're already a member of the Nation of Islam by birth. Every black man, woman, and child is a member of the Nation of Islam. It only means those who have the nature of obedience to God. That's all that means. But I want to thank you, brother, for taking this first step stand. As a matter of fact, what's your name, sir? Augustus. Can I have the honor and privilege of shaking your hand on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Let's give him a round. We just want to give you some information, Brother Warren. If you would just see Brother Warren. And to my brothers and sisters who have yet to take this stand, that's okay. Whether you are Muslim, Christian, whether in God or not, whether you believe in no God whatsoever, be with us in this boycott. Okay?
Yes, sir.
We have 100% agreement with the boycott?
Yes, sir.
All right. Praise be to Allah. So we'll be forwarding you information. We have your means of contact. We have your contact information. We will be forwarding you information regarding the steps that we're going to be taking to get this message out about the boycott. So you can join with us, and we with you, to make it effective here in Orlando. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. May Allah bless you.